Ernest Miller Hemingway was an American novelist, short story writer, and journalist. His economical and understated style, which he termed the iceberg theory, had a strong influence on 20th-century fiction, while his adventurous lifestyle and his public image brought him admiration from later generations. Hemingway produced most of his work between the mid-1920s and the mid-1950s and won the Nobel Prize in Literature in 1954. He published 7 novels, story collections, and 2 non-fiction works. 3 of his novels, 4 short story collections, and 3 non-fiction works were published posthumously. Many of his works are considered classics of American literature. Hemingway was raised in Oak Park, Illinois. After high school, he reported for a few months for the Kansas City Star before leaving for the Italian front to enlist as an ambulance driver in World War I. In 1918, he was seriously wounded and returned home. His wartime formed the basis for his novel A Farewell to Arms. In 1921, he married Hadley Richardson, the first of what would be 4 wives. The couple moved to Paris, where he worked as a foreign correspondent and fell under the influence of the modernist writers and artists of the 1920s lost generation expatriate community. His debut novel, The Sun Also Rises, was published in 1926. After his 1927 divorce from Richardson, Hemingway married Pauline Pfeiffer. They divorced after the Spanish Civil War, where he had been a journalist. He based For Whom the Bell Tolls on his experience there. Martha Gellhorn became his 3rd wife in 1940. They separated after he met Mary Welsh in London during World War II. He was present at the Normandy landings and the liberation of Paris. Shortly after the publication of The Old Man and the Sea, Hemingway went on safari to Africa, where he was almost killed and held for much of the rest of his life. Hemingway maintained permanent residences in Key West, Florida and Cuba. In 1959, he bought a house in Ketchum, Idaho, where, in mid-1961,